You ever hear the saying, life will send you the same lesson in a different form until you've learned it? It's so true. Why does it take us forever to learn a lesson? And here's the thing, when we think we've learned the lesson, it comes back even stronger to make sure that we've learned our lesson. Hey friends, Jenn here from Oxijen Podcast, navigating life and breaking the chains of self-doubt, limiting beliefs, bad habits, and old thought patterns to live the life we are meant to live. I am talking today about life's lessons. And for me, I hope I'm not alone, but I've always struggled with worry. Worrying about everything, worrying about money, worrying if I'm doing things right, worrying if I'm taking care of my animals the correct way. And I struggled with worry. Like my head would go to the worst case scenario. Can you relate? That has always been my struggle. And also finances, not having enough money, worrying about paying bills. Those two things are something that I've always worked on. And I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on it. Like meaning that when it does come into my mind, I do have the awareness of when I'm thinking the old thoughts. In fact, I have a conversation with myself. I hope you don't think it's weird, but I do. I always say to myself, Jenn, are you telling the same story again? I thought we were done with this. And what that does, it kind of interrupts the pattern of what I'm doing. Last week, I was tested in more ways than one on my old stories and my limiting beliefs. Like, was I able to stay present? And for some of you that know me, my youngest dog, my puppy, he's going to be 2 in a couple of weeks, started getting sick last week. And so I took him to the vet and they gave him fluids and they sent me home with medicine to turn off the part of the brain that has him throwing up, which I thought was fascinating because I'm a mind-body coach. I'm like, that's really interesting. Bring him home Tuesday night and I watched my poor dog throw up and throw up and throw up. And I'm like, this is clearly not working. And I call the vet the next day. I bring him in by myself. My husband's in the car. And I share this story because my old self would have been like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I would have been putting out this negativity and fear. And I share that because I had done that in the past. And my poor dog, Cole, because of my energy, he was a scared dog. I can say that now because I've done so much work. I know he was feeding off my own energy. So going into the vet the second time with my new puppy, I did not want to do that to him. I know so much about energy now. And when I walked in, the vet says to me, "This isn't good. Your dog should not be throwing up on the medicine we gave him." And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to go there. My old self would have been in such a rabbit hole of anxiety and fear and worry that I wouldn't have been able to have a conversation with the vet. I would have been crying because I have done that, so I can say that. And I'm saying I had to be there energetically for my dog. Did I want to go down worry? Ooh, it took everything in my power to stay present and breathe. And so she did an x-ray and she calls me into the back room and she says, I'm really concerned. And I look at the x-ray and I'm not a doctor, but there was a lot of black going on in there. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not sure about that. She says to me, "This is not good." Again, my old self would have been a hot mess. You're telling me, my puppy, this is not good. I said, okay, have to go to the emergency room. Your dog needs surgery now. So we go up. We see the doctor and they said, "I'm very concerned with what's going on in your dog's small intestine. It's not good. He needs surgery." Again, another doctor is telling me this is not good. Clearly, it's not good. My old self would have been in panic mode. Why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing with you because a couple things happened. It took work. It took work for me to stay in the present moment. It took work for me to remind myself, what kind of energy did I want to show up for my animal, for my husband, for myself? It took work, and I've been doing this work. I am breaking those chains of old thought. And I share this with you because it does take work, and it is possible. It's one thought at a time. So now we're there. And if you ever have gone to the vet or taken or had surgery, they give you all the worst case scenario. And because of the amount of blockage in his small intestine, they told me that they were probably going to have to cut it, take the stuff out, remove any dead part of the intestine, and then sew it back together. So it's about time we're going to leave. And he asked me, do you want to see your dog before you go? And my husband said no. He didn't want to upset our dog. And I said, I kind of want to see him. And I share what I'm about to share is because here's the beautiful work. When you trust and you stay present, you are able to receive all the beautiful gifts that in what seems to be a chaotic situation, it would have been chaotic if I allowed my mind to go there. And trust me, it was work. I was exhausted after this. But what came next is this beautiful tech walked in the room to bring my dog so I can say goodbye to him before his surgery. And I looked at this young tech and I said, I know you. I know you. And she looked at me and she's, you look familiar. It turned out she is the daughter of my brother's best friend. That was my gift. And I said, are you going to be watching him? And she said, yes. And so I would not have been able to receive that. If you believe in the law of attraction, universal energy, you know that was my gift. For staying present, for being there, for being in the moment, for not letting my mind go down a negative path. And he had the surgery and I got a picture of him. The next day he was stable but not eating. Things were coming out of both ends. He was still not in the clear. Again, I got an update and I kept present. Trust me, it was work. My mind, but what I did is I took the little bit of hope that I had, the little bit of good. I said to myself, he's not throwing up. It's removed. He's one step closer to being healthy. And I thought, and I gave the energy of health. And I share this because this is taking me years and it is the lesson that I had to learn. I hope in my share that you can see that it is available to you as well. I could have had that same situation and been my old self and been scared and anxious and worried and living in this chaotic state until he came home, but I didn't allow myself to do it. And it was a lot of work. And I will tell you, I was exhausted. I share because it's in those moment-to-moment decisions that we get to decide how we want to show up for ourselves, how we want to show up for others, and how we want to show up for our animals and kids. What I love about that was my lesson. And the other lesson, if you ever have gone to the vet and you don't have pet insurance, holy moly, that was my second lesson. They gave me the price and it's I don't want to say expensive because that would be my old version. What I did is when they gave me the price, I said, of course. And I trusted. And you know what? I put it on 2 credit cards and you do what you have to do. But I didn't let my old story of lack or money be a part of this journey that I was on. I share because I share what's possible. I never thought I would be here where I have a dog having life-saving surgery at an expense that was something I've never spent in one day and be happy about it. I hope this is just like an aha moment, really, to remember life is number one, it's a journey, but number 2, it's your classroom. Every day we get to show up and every day we get to learn and every day we get to experience. If you go to school keeping your minds on the past, bringing the past into the present, you're not going to learn. So if you show up today with yesterday's problems, yesterday's worries, you're not living in the moment. You're not living today. You're not living for today. I hope this is a reminder to be very mindful and vigilant of how you're thinking, how you're showing up, because we get to decide. And that was my biggest gift and my biggest lesson was my dog's adventure last week. I am happy to report he is home, he is recovering, and he is doing so much better. If you like what I'm sharing, please share. My mission is to help people tap into the natural resources that they have to create their own health, their own happiness. And it's a beautiful gift when we can connect our minds and our body and our energetic soul. It's amazing because we get to live our authentic life. We get to actually live life, and that's what I'm here to do. And it took me quite a while to get here, and I want the distance to be shorter for you. I want everyone to be happy and healthy. So share this podcast so we can spread the word. Until next time, I'll see you.